And that little girl was me.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Power. I'm Dr. Matthews, the accountability specialist. We have Wendell King, the communication and political specialist. We have the identity professor, who is, of course, the identity specialist. And then we have our new co-host by the name of Mr. Dean Rozier-Snell. What is going on, my people?
How are you?
I'm doing good. What's up?
Listen, we missed you, man. Like I was in here with the boys last week all by myself, King. Like
I know, man. Look, hey, y'all. Sister had to go get snatched right quick. That's all I had. I'm gonna go get snatched right quick. That's all. So what's up? I missed y'all.
Listen, Dean, how are you? Welcome.
I am great. Happy to be here. Happy that you guys added me to the podcast. I thought it was awesome. I was glad that you guys invited me to be the fourth person. I feel like we're like the black version of The View, you know.
Come on,
The
push
black
through.
version of The View. You know,
Dean, why don't you tell our viewers something about you? Like, let them know who you are.
Well, I'm Dean. I'm Dean. I live in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from the sunny state of Florida. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, I should say. I moved to Atlanta from Texas, Houston, Texas, to be exact. I guess I'm the political guy on the show. I used to work on the other side of the aisle from 2006 to about 2018. Became an independent, and now I'm kind of pushing for, the Democrats to kind of take over a little bit, you know. But
wait a minute.
Oh yeah, I'm a school teacher. I'm an educator. Oh yeah, I voted for Barack twice.
Did you vote for Barack? Oh, okay.
I voted for him twice.
I mean, it's good, honey.
Surprisingly, the funny, crazy thing is that nationwide, like on nationwide elections, President Obama was my first president that I could vote for. I was eligible to vote in 2006, so that's when I graduated from high school. But 2008 was the first time I voted for a president, and I mean, I was on the fence, but I mean, I just knew I had to make that history and see the first African American president become, president. And I voted for him in 2012 too, of course. Yeah. So I mean, I tell people I'm like,
you on the fence with McCain and old girl, okay?
I mean, I'm Obamacan. Okay, I'm Obamacan. I tell people that all the time. My loyalty right now is with President Obama until further notice, because at this point, ain't nobody else really. I'm really like slanging it like that.
We got a fish straddler. Huh? That's all right. That's all right. Well, first of all, let's acknowledge, the victims of Hurricane Laura.
Yes.
Because I know I had family members that was affected by it. And, we want to give our condolences, our hearts and prayers. And we want you guys to rebuild. And the struggle is not over. The Lord ain't left y'all. Okay. We just thank you all for the fact that they were able to bring people clothes. They were able to get together and just, come in as a family and help these people and their families. So we want to give that shout out to you guys. And then let's turn around and talk about the loss of Black Panther, y'all. Oh my God, I could have just died.
Yeah, that was a gut wrencher for me. That hurt me to my heart, and I figured something was up like a while back. Like people, I saw when he posted a picture and he was looking real like, unhealthy. And I saw people laughing and joking about it. I was like, I mean, either he's doing it for a role or something's really wrong.
That's what he did. Like when, how 50 had to lose all that weight for one of those roles, you know what I mean?
Or like thanks too.
Yeah.
That's why when it happened, I was like, I was sitting shocked, like, dang, like, because we just had seen him do a movie. He just did that movie on Netflix with all of the older actors. Yes. And I thought that was a great movie. So it's just crazy because so many people were talking about like how he was sick for the last 5 to 6 years, and he had done all of these roles and was able to persevere through. So for me, I'm like, the legacy that he left definitely shouldn't be forgotten. Especially with him doing Black Panther, the Thurgood Marshall movie, all of that stuff.
42.
And with him being an HBC grad.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a Howard Bison, big bleed blue. Today I bleed blue.
I'll give him that.
For Chadwick.
Okay. I was gonna say, what you bleed on the other days?
Maroon and gray, as you can see.
What?
So I think for me, for the loss, it was profound. Like I didn't think I was going to have that kind of emotional response to it. But him being 43 and him saying, "I want to die empty," was, like God shaking me and saying, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to warn you no more. Like, you need to do what you need to do, and you need to stop wasting time. So I think I've been constantly posting his picture as a constant reminder to just give everything that you can, no matter how it comes out. Give everything that you have to what you're doing, so you can die empty.
What 2020?
But you know what's so? Yeah, I said
Okay.
2020 has 2020 is 2020. Can I say ain't S on the line?
Yeah,
20.
Ain't shit.
That was my post. 2020 ain't shit this year. It's really been bad. Like
we just
I'm
a whole year away. Shit.
But you know what? It also being an African American man, and I'm sure I call him Dr. King. I'm sure Wendell could say the same thing, but it makes you kind of look at, because he was only 43 and he had prostate cancer, and they tell us you can't have a prostate cancer test until you're like 45. I'm like, you know, I'm in my early 30s, you know, so I'm like, I need to probably tell my doctors and push my doctor to, you know, this is what I need, and I don't need you to tell me what I don't need. I need to know, because this stuff is preventable if you catch it in time. But the problem is,
you know, nutrition. You know, like black men, you know, there's this thing, y'all are superheroes for us, you know, and then you neglect yourselves, and then we're left alone without you. And so it's a matter of, you know, listening to your body, being able to, you know, see what's going on with your body and saying, oh, you know what, that's not normal. Let me go get that checked out, instead of saying, oh, I'll go next week, or oh, it ain't nothing. Oh, I'll take some, you know, I'll drink some ginger ale. And, you know, instead of, you know, putting it off, like, take these things seriously, because you know, your body is a temple, and when it stops working, that's it.
Yeah, because
Chadwick
even the ginger ale.
Yeah, I think that Chadwick just really, it was a culture thing for me, because every movie that he did, he was very precise with the roles that he took. And so I really believe that he was telling his backstory, and he was trying to get it all out very quickly. And so I think that God's divine intervention was already at work. And I think that he subconsciously may have known, because he told his own story so well. And every chance that he had in interviews, he always made sure that he left a message of, when I leave, I will leave done. I will leave complete. And so when you look at his catalog of the movies that he did, and you hear the stories of people that went to college with him, and the stories of his family that they had, and the way they held him down and didn't put his business out, I think that it just says a lot. I had a prostate cancer 2 years ago, and I can prostate cancer checkup rather, and it is the most painful. It is the most painful thing I have ever gone through in my life. But it was well worth it, because my grandfather died from prostate cancer. I have an uncle that passed from prostate cancer, and cancer itself runs in my family on both sides. So my grandfather died. So it's like that cancer thing mixed with 2020, mixed with COVID, mixed with social injustice, ignorance. It's just too much. I'm with you. 2020 ain't shit. So share this shit. Make sure y'all share this shit.
Well, look here. Real shit. Well, then let's get shady then. Okay, so let's just look at this verse map, right? Okay, so who do you all think did the best between Monica and Brandy?
Y'all go first.
I'm a Monica fan. I never really banged with Brandy. Like, her music just didn't ever really sit well with my soul. And I tell people I'm not really like.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that one. Now, I like her music.
No, like her new album, I bang that all day. And like, it makes me want to go.
Brandy too.
But see, I got to go back. I have to go back and listen to the old Brandy. Like I tell people, like I kind of.
I was saying that I want to be down. Okay, that's my.
But Brandy is our age. He's younger.
He's younger.
No, but not only that, but
Monica too.
No, but not only that, but I grew up listening to like rock and like pop music. So when I started listening to R&B and stuff, it wasn't like until later on down the line. And I think like Monica was like, even though my parents like played like R&B and stuff like that, I really loved Monica's voice for some reason. Like, it was something about her like she had.
I'm gonna say this here now. Monica do have that voice that would take it to the church house, because first of all, do y'all remember that award show when it was her and Keisha Cole and you know, her and Keisha Cole had that song together, and baby, she rocked Keisha Cole her whole song. You understand? And it was like she was trying to hold back,
but she couldn't.
If you got it. Keisha Cole,
Yeah,
you probably could have got somebody else.
I'm gonna say neither.
I'm just saying.
In the verses, like
Why
neither.
you say that?
Party pooper. Aurelia's a party pooper.
Aurelia,
like that.
Now you know that girl Monica got them pipes. But I am gonna say this real quick.
No.
I remember meeting Monica.
You don't say nothing real quick, Dr. Matthews.
No. I was a teenager. I went to her concert. And we went to Dallas. We drove from Houston to go to Dallas to that concert. And then we so happened didn't know that she was staying in the hotel that we stayed in. So I wanted to be like, Monica, we so love you. I thank you for your concert, girl. It was a bomb. Did you know she gonna turn around and look like this? Then that's when the north side of Houston came out. I say, well, first of all, don't get too snazzy, boo, because I paid for your ticket to go see you.
Well, I'm
not
gonna go see Brandy. I'm not gonna see either one of them. I feel like that was a versus battle that shouldn't have happened.
Nah.
Oh my God. Well, I thought that was the best so far. Their viewership showed that it was the best so far. They had more views than any has had so far. I am Team Brandy, but I'm Team them. Like, I like both of them. I love the fact that these are two women that started off at 12 years old and 14 years old, and they're still standing and they're still making money. They're still pushing the envelope. I think that Brandy is just I'm an all-around Brandy fan. I grew up with Moesha, so I'm an all-around Brandy fan. I think Monica was the girl in the 8th grade that could sing real good. You know, like she sings the blues, so she's good for on those hard days when you had your heart broken and you put in a Monica song and she'll make you weep a little bit. But I wasn't really moved with her. I wasn't moved with her 1999 Fendi outfit. I wasn't moved with her wearing leather pants in the heat of the summer. I wasn't with it.
What about the song when they were together with The Boy's Mind? That was right there.
But The Boy's Mind was written by Brandy. It was on Brandy's album, and if you look it up, it's gonna be Brandy featuring Monica. So that Grant was because of Brandy. I mean,
the sad thing is Monica killed her in her own song. So that's the real shade. Is that Monica on her own song? That's the real shade.
Well, that's your opinion.
We know that's what I know. Because if you go back on the song, Monica ran her off her own song, especially towards the end. She couldn't even keep on.
Wait, it's an Amber Alert.
Lord, who is it?
And I take the opportunity to say, listen, I understand that two people that are almost 40 or nearing 40, a little over 40, that you enjoy a moment of nostalgia, and that's all it was for you. Because
it was. I agree with that.
That's what it is.
I actually enjoyed it.
I did. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I enjoyed the shade. I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed the music. I was bopping because I bopped to Monica. Yeah. You know, I've had my heart broken a few times, so I understand a angry person. So, you know, I can identify with it.
But the sad thing is that I think Monica's had a more vibrant life outside of music than Brandy, because Brandy has.
I don't know if you can define that unless you know.
Because Monica been through a whole.
Monica's getting over a broken heart right now.
Well, that's just right now. But I look at Brandy and her, her bipolar episode and stuff like that. There's a lot that's going on.
I'm not gonna beat up nobody over mental illness or mental issue.
But you got to look at Monica's trauma because she saw her first fiance shoot himself in a car.
You remember that?
Yeah, that girl had a lot of stuff has happened to her, and she persevered.
You
know what I mean?
And she allegedly had an abortion at 16 for a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking
all of that is trauma.
Teenagers and 30-year-old men.
Oh yeah! Come on!
Yeah, come on!
Houston, formerly of Immature, which I guess
he was the one that allegedly got raped, right? By they producer.
No, that wasn't Marcus Houston.
No, that was him, but he was.
That was one of the boys from B2K. I mean, not B2K.
They said he was with it too.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he wasn't one of them that got allegedly
what I
touched
do
on.
know is that he, in For Real in Real Life, is married a 19-year-old girl.
Now, see, what's up with that?
So,
Damn shame.
I mean,
it sounds like to me, like some Color Purple stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go to school.
I can't. I mean, so what y'all think about it? Because, listen, we have
discussed
a whole, conversation around R. Kelly and banning his music and holding him to the fire for being a predator and going after these young girls. And now this brother who's now 38, 39, who's with
39.
this 39, who's not with this 19-year-old girl who he's just married. And so
what can she possibly do? What could she possibly do for him? You understand?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's do, but I don't feel like we can.
What else can she do?
But I don't know if it's fair to compare him to R. Kelly.
Yeah,
because R. Kelly was literally with 12, 13-year-old girls, and he was preying off of them. He was preying off of them because of their financial status compared to his financial status. But I can't. But she's still grown. Like, I understand what y'all are saying, but she's still an adult. So to compare him to a pedophile would be unfair.
But then, how long were they dating then? Well,
I don't know.
When
you know how I am.
16.
But you know how I am. I don't speak on what I don't know.
Right. That's why I'm like.
Yeah, here's my thing. Like, I'm not dragging a brother. Like, you listen. She's 20 years. I didn't been with somebody 30 years older than me, so it just is what it is. So I'm just saying, are you gonna have the conversation? Like, let's
go both sides.
God in heaven.
Well, pedophilia.
Yeah, well,
when I was 19, I dated a 30-year-old, but I always tell people that sometimes the teenagers prey on the old. I mean, I'm sorry, because when I was 19, I didn't want to look at nobody on the yard.
Right. Because when I was 18, I definitely didn't want to look at nobody on the yard as well. That was something that I just didn't want. So I mean,
in my 30s, and I had my own somebody 30 years
old.
I
just expected more from him. I think he want to get somebody young so he can train and manipulate. Because you ain't gonna do that to a real sister.
Well, I mean, just so let me, So let's say it's not necessarily train to manipulate, or maybe it is train to manipulate. I don't know. Or could it be that she's just a status symbol?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. That's the purple syndrome to me. Okay.
So
I want to marry your daughter.
Is he a Jehovah's Witness? Is he like a Jehovah's Witness or something like that?
He is.
So, and I know with Jehovah's Witnesses, it's like they're real strict on marrying within. It's almost like people that are of like it's like an Indians it's a group of Indian people that's like that too, where they can only marry people within their faith. I mean, yes, she's young. It's like, could he have found somebody that was that age? But then you have to look at it. Maybe all of those people kind of married because they do marry young. Because their whole biggest thing is
down here in the Jehovah. That's a Jehovah Witness. He could have came down here, got one of them singles of age.
They got a lot of old girls at the Kings. What is it called? The Kingdom Builders.
Well, maybe he got her because he wanted some kids too. I mean, does he have kids?
I can still have kids, and I'm 41, boo.
Oh my God! Don't talk about.
I think he's nasty. I think he's nasty.
You don't have nasty. I'm just saying.
I think he's nasty, but I just think that there's always stuff that we just don't know. And so when we get caught up in celebrities, well, with Marcus Houston, like D-list celebrity, but when you get caught up in these
that's shade.
used to be celebrities, they do things to try and keep a profile, and it put him back in the news. I hate to say it that way, but when was the last time we had a conversation about a Marcus Houston?
On Love and Hip Hop.
He was on Love and Hip Hop.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
I didn't know that.
He wasn't a regular, but he was a little visitor.
Oh. I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that.
He's a little visitor, the Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. But see, what I get from this thing here, y'all, I'm just gonna be straight up. I can't put it no other way, and I said it, and I'm sticking to it. It's this color purple foolishness. I buy the water for a piece for these couples.
You old school, baby.
Who told
She old school.
him?
But I do think that. But I do think it leads to a bigger conversation, and I think that bigger conversation that it leads to is, where are we as far as love? Like, are we going backwards? Are we going to that place where men? Because if this was a woman that was 39 years old and marrying a man that was 19, i.e. Jennifer Lopez, when she was with the dancer, and she really loved him, but the media pushed him away, and she felt like it was the best thing to do was to separate because she was getting beat up so much and it was affecting her kids. So I think that it leads to a sexism conversation also, because why is it that men are still allowed to do these things and leave out untouched, and women are just...
You didn't get a pass from me either, Wendell. J-Lo didn't get a pass from me because I'm like, now what you doing with that little boy?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's my point, is that the woman never gets a pass, but the men always seems to get a pass.
I ain't giving Marquise Houston a pass. You couldn't find another Jehovah around your age group. I'm just saying.
You don't even know if this woman is Jehovah's Witness. Stop it.
I said, I think that's why I asked.
Right,
you,
it was an example.
I'm like,
I mean, speaking of battles, because you're having a good battle right now, but sexism and these double standards when it comes to age and who can marry who. There was an all-out assault that the RNC attempted last week. I don't know if you were able to keep up with the RNC's convention last week, especially that last night.
Yeah, that last night I didn't. I had to watch the reruns. I refused to give Trump my viewership. I had to catch the...
Well, I was in Mexico, so he wasn't finna get it from my TV.
I was on YouTube catching it.
I caught it after it was over.
I just watched that first night when I first got to Mexico, which was that Monday, right? Mm-hmm. And what killed me with this whole thing was Herschel Walker. I'm like, hold up, the vibe that I got from this fool here was Samuel L. Jackson from Django.
Yeah. Yeah, he gave me.
That's a good one.
He gave me heavy Sambo. I think most of the black people that came on gave me Sambo. I know people reference Uncle Tom, but it's really Sambo who was
it is Sambo.
It was the bad person. So just so y'all clear, Sambo is the bad person in
Uncle Tom's
cabin. That's the antagonist villain.
Yes.
Okay, so start calling people Sambo. Don't call him Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom was the good guy in the book. He was doing stuff that he was supposed to do. But yeah, they all gave me Sambo, from him to Cameron. What's his name? Cameron, Attorney General for Kentucky.
Well, let me ask y'all this.
Yeah.
When I was looking at this, what vibe that gave me.
That
RNC, y'all, what it gave me, all y'all is lying, and y'all need to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what it gave me? It gave me straight cognitive dissonance. It gave me, we are existing in two different realities. It gave me, you would rather deal with dangerous people and conditions and have that and hold on to your identity than to really face what the reality is in America. That's what it gave me. And
it gave me slaves.
Yeah.
I just saw slaves. I saw slaves. I saw idiotic women. I saw a broke down revival. I saw white nationalists. I saw white supremacy at its best.
Right.
I saw when the most sane person is a foreigner that just got her immigration approved in 2014, which was Melania. When she's the most sane person to speak, there's a problem. I found Ivanka to be the most dangerous for me, because Ivanka is one of the ones that are likable. And she tends to make people buy into her. And the normal Ivanka was not with the bull like she is now. The Ivanka before, pre-presidential Donald Trump, was always holding him accountable and stepping out and saying, I don't agree with my father. But this Ivanka has said, oh, we're benefiting. We're growing. So I'm not mad at them, but I'm not mad at none of the white folk. I'm mad at the black slaves, because they intentionally went on that stage and they intentionally took part in these conversations where they couldn't even say Jacob Blake's name. No one acknowledged why looting and rioting was happening. But yet these Negroes was still there in attendance and joined in with talking about the looting and the riots, but no one spoke about why they're looting.
But you have to realize that I always said all kinfolk ain't skinfolk, and everybody. Some people make it into their positions because they have the same mindset as the oppressor, and you can tell that these people. Well, I don't say these people, but the people, the African Americans that they found were people that thought just like them, because all these African Americans have never spoke up with us when it came to Black Lives Matter. With the numbers of people that came out right after the Black Lives Matter movement really got popping in May 25th, so many people was like on the way. So many white people were like, okay, we understand why you guys are out here protesting and destroying stuff, because a police officer sat on a man's neck for 8 minutes and some change, which if that was us, that police officer would have been fired, or we would have looted too. Because I don't think I don't think white folks realize that. Because imagine the government coming and saying because those same conservatives that be talking all that smack. Imagine the government saying we're about to come take your guns, or you can't do something that they appreciate, and watch how they burn down the city or burn down their areas. So what the RNC was for me, was backwards thinking. It was regression. With all the progress that we see happening, or we've seen happen since 2008, that they don't like that progress. They want America to stay the same desolate state that
they had no platform.
Yeah, they don't have a platform.
They literally
they very much have.
Always has a platform. That's one thing about RNC, is that they always present if you may not agree with the platform, but they always together. A platform. But this was all about selling Donald Trump. Right. It was all about selling. This was a huge campaign scheme, and I think it's going to bite them in the tail. I don't care if he wins or not at this point, because what I know is that the Senate is going to flip because they made a big mistake and they forgot to sell themselves.
That's
too many seats.
That's the problem.
For debate right now.
But see, that's the problem, is that Donald Trump, because usually they ask the nominee, whoever's the head of the ticket, what do you want the platform to be, or to work on the platform? They've been asking him about a platform for the last 5 to 6 months, and he never comes up. They always ask him the same question: what are you going to do? What are your plans for if you win another 4 years? And he never had.
He's going to scare the shit out of America.
It's like this. To me, it's like asking a kindergartner, can you read The Great Gatsby?
Yeah. And then we can also look at the Hatch. I think a lot of people miss the Hatch Act, and that's what really pissed me off the most. Yeah. Is that they literally abused the Constitution, and they literally used our money to put on the Republican convention. There's no way around that. The only thing they paid for were those fireworks. Okay, that spelled out Trump 2020. Other than that, we paid.
We don't know if they. We don't know if they paid for that either. We'll know.
Here's the thing about whiteness in America, and I think that we really need to have these real conversations. Them black folks that was on stage with them, that wasn't my concern. I need to know who my enemies are. I need to know who the people are going to flip and turn tail. Like, I need to know the Benedict Arnolds. Like, that is something that was good for me. Oh, that's who you are? Thank you very much. I see you. But the rest of it was real live fear tactics. This was these people who are violent and who are lawless and do not understand order and rules in America are going to come into your suburban areas, and they are going to wage war against you. And that was the messaging with the RNC. The reason why they did not mention Jacob Blake by name, the reason why they did not mention or could not mention George Floyd by name, is because then you are then bringing humanity to people that you have to dehumanize. They did say something. They did say George Floyd's name.
thing. One of them said it, but then the thing that they try to twist it, as far as with the defunding police deal, it was something that was long. I can't remember exactly what, but they try to.
I didn't hear George Floyd name.
I didn't hear George Floyd's name.
I know they mentioned.
Try to bring his name up Monday night.
I know they mentioned Breonna Taylor though.
Yeah, they did mention Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, they did.
But that was a whole other narrative.
But they mentioned Breonna Taylor with the Attorney General of Kentucky, black ass.
Daniel Cameron. That's his name. Daniel Cameron.
Yeah, I said it started with a D. I thought it was D.
Yeah, that's why it just popped in my head.
But this was after he gave a statement on Monday before RNC saying that he didn't have time to deal with the Breonna Taylor case that week. He would start back the following week. So you froze on an investigation just so you could go with your bad skin ass and go get on that stage and put on a show for those white folk. And I have a problem with every Negro.
Since we talked about Breonna Taylor, did y'all hear the latest what they was talking about on the news?
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention. They tried to get
the dude to make it like she was part of that drug
drug ring.
They trying to make it she's a dope girl. That's what they trying to make it out.
Right.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to it goes back to they have to dehumanize every black person that they kill. They have to find a way to, and that was going to be their way to dehumanize her and say this is why she was shot.
And it's just
that's the justifiable reason, because when you look at every African American that's shot, they always find they can go into a person's past from 20 years ago. That's their way of dehumanizing African American people when they know they're in the wrong. Because now the picture that everybody see of Breonna Taylor is that Breonna Taylor was she worked as a paramedic, she worked in an EMT worker. So right now she has that average American person who works in medicine. So it's
they try to make her guilty by association, and you can't.
But there's no way of getting around that, because they were not there investigating Breonna Taylor. They were there looking for her ex-boyfriend, not her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, and they had him in custody already. So it doesn't matter what she ate the day before. It doesn't matter. But while we're talking about this, we do have some footage that we want to show, and then we want to get some opinions on it. So let's see what Donald Trump had to say about Kyle Rittenhouse while we're talking about these.
He's accused of killing two people. Is that the order of yours? Saying, are you going to condemn the actions of vigilantes like Kyle Rittenhouse?
We're looking at all of it. That was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape as I saw, and he was trying to get away from them, I guess, it looks like, and he fell, and then they very violently attacked him. And it was something that we're looking at right now, and it's under investigation. But I guess he was in very big trouble. He would have been. He probably would have been killed. But it's under investigation.
Do you think private citizens should be taking guns?
I'd like to see law enforcement take care of everything. I think everything should be taken care of law enforcement. But again, we have to give our cops back, our police back, their dignity, the respect. They're very talented people. They're strong. They're tough. They can do the job. But we've taken it away. We don't want to have, when somebody makes a mistake, he chokes, or in some cases you have bad cops. We have to take care of that. In other cases, they choke. They have a quarter of a second to make a decision. And sometimes they make the wrong decision. If they make the wrong decision, if they make the wrong decision in the other direction, they're probably dead. So they choke sometimes. And that goes on the evening news for weeks. And the thousands and tens of thousands of great things they do, nobody covers that. Nobody writes about that. But if they make a mistake, and again, the bad cops, everybody agrees they have to be very tough on bad cops. But sometimes you have a cop or a police person who is a good police person, right? Good. But they choke. The timing, and they go through this, and they study this, and they work on it all the time. They literally have a quarter of a second to make some of these decisions. And they make a wrong decision, and it's very devastating. But I will say this, I honor law enforcement. We wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for law enforcement.
Okay, I'm gonna start off. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I honestly have an issue with that, because I tell people cops don't have the luxury to have a bad day, and they don't have the luxury to have a hiccup. because you're playing with people's lives at the end of the day. That's why I have a big issue with that, because I'm like, as a teacher, I feel like I'm held more responsible for kids and people's lives than some of these cops are. I feel like when a cop shoots an unarmed person, or when a cop, because most of these cops that end up killing African American people, they already have a history of doing something extreme. Mm-hmm. They've already had a history. Like when we look at the George Floyd case, the guy that killed George Floyd had 12 write-ups on him from incidents before. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, if we look at some of the cops that handled that situation, I guarantee you they have some type of write-ups, or they have some type of incident reports against them. I think that's my biggest issue.
For me, his dog was of politics, right? That's all he was doing. And so when you say, and he would have had to defend himself against them who? They didn't have guns. They were protesting. They had picket signs. They had phones and cameras is what they had. And you're walking around the streets, little white boy, with an assault rifle, and no one stops you. No one thinks to question you, because your whiteness cloaks you into this whole identity of being the safe, non-criminal body walking the street. But yet when you see, after he shot these people, and the people that were on the street trying to help the individuals that were shot, the cops went after them. Yeah. Not the boy with the rifle. Then you're saying it's about law and order. And then I clearly hear Trump humanizing one group, the police, and dehumanizing the other group, the protesters. And I have a problem with that.
And to be honest, he's humanizing the people that are vigilantes at this point as well. Absolutely. I'm gonna take the cops out of this, because today he said something about, the people that are out, all of those little brigades that just came into Kenosha, and yesterday were shooting people with paint guns. It was like, oh, it's just paint. Like, we haven't even seen that clip of the video, but that's a big issue for me as well, because what you're doing is you're telling these people that this is okay. When you don't stop it, and when you don't say this is wrong and you shouldn't do it, just like how Joe Biden said, don't go out there and tear stuff up. Donald Trump should have been saying the same thing. Don't go out there trying to be a vigilante and trying to take matters into your own hands, because all that does is make things worse. And on top of that, it's like he keeps talking about law and order, but I'm like, this is just like everybody keeps saying, this is your America. You are the president.
You said the time.
Joe Biden is the president right now. All of the violence that's going on in the streets is under your administration.
Oh, right. You. Just like, what was that? When the young girl was ran over doing the protest in, what was that, Charlottesville?
Yeah.
When she was ran over and killed, and you said, oh, there's bad people on both sides.
Both sides.
No, both sides wasn't running over people and killing people.
Right. But that's the problem.
But with Kyle, I have a special issue with the fact that, first off, his mother drove him from Illinois to Kenosha for this. Like, that's the number one thing, is that his mother drove this minor. So they keep saying this white boy with a gun, but he was a white boy from another state that mother drove him down with an illegal weapon in his hand. Right. And he was out after curfew. And he was out after curfew in a city that's not his home with an illegal weapon. He had an illegal weapon in his hand. And the chief of police in Kenosha came out and said that those men that were killed would not have been killed had they not been out after curfew.
Right. So you blame the victim.
You have this boy that drove from another state specifically for this, to do this, and people also get it mixed up. You have to look at the video, but they broke it down really well on Fox News, believe it or not. He had already killed one man. Yeah. And what we saw on the video was them trying to get the rifle from him. And that's when he shot the other one in the arm, and he killed the second man. So people are like, they were trying to attack him. He was fighting for his life. No, he had already killed someone.
Somebody.
And at this point, they were trying to get the gun. And then he's walking through the street, waving at the police, trying to turn himself in, and they pass him up to go after the protesters.
Yeah. See, the biggest problem is, and like you said, you just basically broke it down, And that's the biggest problem that everybody's leaving out. And I think that is the message that people need to be driving home, is that he had already, by the time that video started recording him, and the reason why people were attacking him is because he had already killed the man. A 17-year-old who you're not even supposed to hold a firearm. You're not supposed to legally carry a firearm at 17. So that's one law broken. You're across state lines. That's 2 laws broken. And you're out after curfew. That's 3 laws broken. And then you just killed someone. And then you shot another person. And then you killed another person.
Now the one he shot in the arm had a handgun. The one he shot in the arm was getting ready to, the one he shot in the arm had a gun. He was getting ready to pop him.
He should have popped him.
But I tell people all the time, I'm like, this is why, and this is why I tell African Americans all the time, if you can carry a gun legally, carry one, because this isn't going to be, this is the first time, and it's not going to be the last time, because the way this president is speaking, and that's why I tell people specifically, I'm like, y'all talking about us getting popped in the street right now by police. If y'all let Donald Trump get 4 more years, these white folks, it ain't gonna just be the police, it's gonna be these vigilante white people who are going to specifically come into the city, right, just to pop you because you out there protesting, right?
He is already writing the plot right now.
And you know what?
I got the purge.
This is to me, Donald Trump's presidency gives me the pre-purge. Like it's like we're living in a movie, and people don't realize how bad it can get. Because right now they're living in we got 2 bad candidates, and I don't like this person, and I don't like this person. But I'm like, you don't like this person for something that happened years ago that Black people were pushing too. But this person that we have now that's sitting in the presidency is telling people who don't look like you, who don't like your color, that it's okay to shoot you with a paintball gun. And it's okay to go out there and arrest and and give you a citizen's arrest, because that's basically what we're going to get next. Is people are going to be trying to put.
Well, we're already doing that, and so let's be clear. Like, this is not just about people, Black people. This is Black people and people of color. Like, anybody that's not white right now, you are a threat, because that whiteness is not growing at the rates that reproducing
that they wanted to.
Right. The other thing is,
I think it's only Black people.
We have to stop using the word attack. Nobody wasn't attacking that boy. They was protecting the streets. That was protection. He was attacking. He was the initiator. He was the instigator. And they should. I can't say that.
But how was he able to drive back home to Illinois, go to sleep, wake up, eat breakfast, and then his mother drives him in to turn himself in? A Black man would have been dead on arrival.
Well, first of all, the police in Illinois would have kicked his door in already. He wouldn't have had to turn himself in, because they would have already been kicking his door in and shipping him back to Wisconsin.
Well, look what they did with the DC sniper and his thumb when they was over there popping people, and they was Black.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You guys need to watch the video. I posted it on my page. It was in Tallahassee, where this white man was antagonizing the protesters, and then he started fighting them, and they started fighting him back and beating him up, and he pulls a gun out on one of the people.
I saw that.
And he's like this, and he aims the gun at the police, because the police are like, stop, and he puts the gun up like this, and the police still manages to arrest him without even beating him down. Like, they literally let him get on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, no club, no billy club, no taser, no type of restraint.
But this is where the police comes in. Like, this is the importance of defunding the police. And when I say defund, I mean correct defunding, taking money from those areas that they are abusing it, because they obviously need police reform. One of the greatest things that I saw through the NBA was when, I think it was Robert Orr, but which one of them said, I forgot which NBA player it was, but he said that stop telling us that all cops are not bad and start telling them that we're not all bad. How about that? So they definitely need to be trained on how to deal with Black people, because they fear Black people. And that is the number one issue. When they run up on a white boy, they're not afraid that the white boy can defeat them. But when they run up on a Black man, they have a fear. They have an innate fear. And that's what we have to work on.
But you want to know what the biggest
That's
issue
not
is
trained.
they're not trained.
That's not trained.
Yeah, but most of the time they have the rookie cops on the beat in the black communities. People don't realize that when it comes time to, because I tell people I dated a cop, and they always tell me the same thing.
They use it
the
for
rookie
training.
cops. The rookie cops are the ones that's thrown in the bad neighborhoods or in the black neighborhoods because the people with seniority are like, I done did that already. I'm going over here to this little nice suburban neighborhood. So right now, so what we have in our community are really untrained police officers, and sometimes.
But you know what the prime example is?
It's not.
I don't know.
Mindset. It's the culture. It's police culture.
Right.
It's the toxicity of the police culture. It's the history of police culture. Now we want to talk about reform and all of those things. We've been reforming police departments and policies since the late 50s, right? We've had all of these commissions: the Kerner Commission, the Mullen Commission, the Knapp Commission, all of these commissions, the Obama's task force of policing in the 21st century. We've had all of those things. We got a commission going on right now in Houston. Like, it's not that. It is the fact that you are using training to camouflage the real problem that's happening in the police department. And the problem is you have a toxic culture. You have a violent culture. You have a illogical culture. And until you can change the mindsets of these people that you're recruiting, you're going to continue to see this problem.
Well, you know why? Because a lot of these people are looking at these corrupt police movies. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I know, Dean, you might have seen it, even though you the baby of the crew. Colors.
Yeah, I saw Colors. I had it on VHS.
I am a nightmare walker.
I had it on VHS.
That's part of it, because that's part of a toxic police culture. Mm-hmm. And just like when Dean, I gotta bring this back. When Dean made the statement, like, you have a lot of these rookie cops, you want to put them in the heavy African-American populated areas. So what do you think Pac-Man came from? Pac-Man was right up in there in the heavy colored area with Hispanics and blacks and roughing them people up for no reason. A lot of these cops that are cops now, they look at this type of stuff. A lot of these cops were actually students who used to get beat up at school. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you got a badge. You own something.
But it's also police discretionary power. It is informal and formal policy. It's this is what the rule book says. This how we do it out here on this beat.
Right. Because the rule books say one thing, but the way they handle things on the street is a completely different thing.
Street grade.
But I can honestly say, and I was going to mention policy.
It all goes back to Reformation. Say that it goes to training.
So I mean, I get it, but my dissertation, I've been studying this police policy. I've been studying this thing for years now. Training is a camouflage. It's not training. I can train a bird all day long.
But policing started off,
and it ain't
so we can't expect policing to become good now.
The only way the police departments will be fixed, I can't even give you an answer for that, to be honest, because the culture of the culture of police officing, as long as
I can give you an answer.
No, I was going to say the only way policing will be fixed. Well, I'm not going to even say that. The culture of policing is so in
Aurelia. The identity professor.
The identity. I was going to call you by your handle name. The identity professor said it's in the culture. It's in the culture. Like, this is something that's been going on since policing has started. And remember, policing started with slavery. So policing was always meant to oppress the black people and protect the white people. They were always meant to protect the white citizens from the black people. So that hasn't changed, because when you look at policing now, they do the same thing. They police us, but if you go into a white neighborhood, they don't police like that. When they knock on those white folks' doors, they knock and they say, "Hello, ma'am. We had a disturbance." When they knock on our door, it's like, "We heard a disturbance. You wanna step out your door?"
Well, hold on, correction. Let me go.
Do you stay here?
Let me interject. Because I look here. I live in a white neighborhood. Matter of fact,
I do too.
One of the on this corner. Okay.
I
and
do
guess
too.
what? They don't come to my house like that. And I got cameras everywhere. When they come to my house, excuse me, we got a call about,
and that's because of where you live.
Stress.
That's because of where you live.
No.
That's because of where you live.
Now, to answer your question on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you really didn't have the answer to this. In order to get this police culture under control, y'all got to check that union. The union.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier.
Right.
The unions are the reason why police officers
They
are
hold
able to
the
do
power.
the things that they do because the unions hold the power. And the unions and the reason why these politicians don't touch these police officers a lot because their unions are so powerful and their unions throw so much money into these local politicians because a lot of these local politicians don't get as much money as we think when it comes to their campaigns.
Well, Dean, it's funny Dean said that because that moves us right into the next thing, and that is our issue with some of our mayors and some of our good mayors. That leads right directly into that because in Houston, that is somewhat of an issue because nothing is better than having the police department and the police union to endorse you as a candidate. Yeah. That is one of the greatest endorsements you can have for a city election.
Can I say something?
So go with it.
Can I say something? But that goes back to we talk about Trump always throwing out law and order, but when a police union backs a mayor, that's what they're saying. I'm the candidate of law and order. I got the police union behind me, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. It's the same game either way. The only difference is that Donald Trump is outlandish with his, and we know what comes with his. But a lot of these black politicians and a lot of these black mayors say the same thing. When they get the police unions behind them, it's the same. They have their same mantra. I'm going to make sure I protect the streets. Now they may not.
You are right. I agree with you, but that's not the only reason because it is. You have to remember, city police is equivalent to the military to the United States. Any country. So you are, because if you have the police endorsement, then people like you. People think that you're better because they respect the police. They love the police because
people want their neighborhoods to be safe.
That's right.
Conversation like black folks don't want their neighborhoods to be safe. I grew up on the funny side. I wanted my neighborhood to be safe. They want their neighborhood to be safe.
But our police are not bad. But our police are not bad, just like all of them are not good. So I do want to make sure that we make it clear. Like when you say that you haven't had a bad issue with police, I've not had bad money.
I tell people that I haven't had it.
But I'm aware that I haven't had one because I have not run into the right one. Right. And they haven't run into me on the right day, right? Because it's the difference between you running into one that is going to cut up is how their day is going versus how your day is going.
Your day is going.
So I don't put anything past. I don't care if you're black, Jew, whatever. I don't trust you if you are an officer. So I handle them a certain way, and then it's I demand my respect with them. But one day I'm going to run up on one that's not going to be willing to respect me.
We're not going to speak that.
We're not going to speak that.
I'm right with it. If I must die, let me not die in vain.
When they'll cut it out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, what I am going to speak into existence.
Right. Tell my story.
The police union going to have some problems.
Yeah. But let's also just be definitely clear when we talk about mayors, and because right now we're on mayoral problems, and we see a lot of issues in some of these democratic cities, and we see Trump attacking these cities and telling people, if you allow a Democrat to be the president, this is what's going to happen to your little suburban neighborhood. But it's like you also got to remember a lot of these places where it's a lot of violence going on is because African Americans are paid more in these cities, and because I looked at the top 10 list of cities that's progressive for African Americans, all of them are run by Democrats. When you look at Atlanta, when you look at cities like Fort Lauderdale, they're all ran by Democrats and they're ran by Black people. So the issue is that your neighborhoods are going to be attacked. Caucasian people, we're not going to come attack you in your suburban neighborhoods. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get police officers to treat us in our neighborhoods the same way they treat you and little Johnny in your neighborhood. Like when they see you,
3.7% of them. Let's be clear.
Right.
We are the minority for a reason.
Yeah.
That's just not a cute name to wear. We are 12.7% of the United States population. So we have a greater reason to fear them than they have to fear us.
Right.
And I think that it's sad that we have to have this fight, this conversation all the time because we just want to be treated equally. Like, why is it asking to be treated equally has to be all of this? Democratic cities are just so happen to be where most black and brown people
live.
So it's not that the Democrats are doing black people bad.
So let me ask you, so well then based on, you know, the letter that all the African American city council members sent to the mayor, what is your opinion on that about dealing with the police and the police union? Do y'all think that's a dog pony show, or do y'all think that, you know?
No, I don't. I think that Art Acevedo, I think Art Acevedo is a show puppy. I think that he has his own agenda, and it is not to be chief of police. He wants to be mayor of Houston and maybe one day governor. He has political aspirations. If you look at his pedigree, you know that he has studied public speaking. He has studied the whole social media is his specialty. That's why he's the chief of police that ended up on The View. He ended up on CNN with Don Lemons. He ended up on Fox News, you know. So I think that they need to do it. I think that is right. But I think we have some good mayors like Tim Wheeler in Portland, Oregon. Tim Wheeler spoke out and he finally said enough is enough. And he told Donald Trump, hey, the problem with America is you're the president. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, I think he said you're the president and you're dividing the country, and you've been dividing the country since before you were president. And now that you're president, you're dividing the country even more. That's the biggest issue, is because, like, for instance, what's going on in Kenosha, he's like, oh, I sent the National Guard in. You didn't send anybody in. That was the governor who sent the National Guard in, not you, because you don't have the power to do that unless you ask the mayor. I mean, unless you ask the governor.
And I think wrote him a letter asking him not to come.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's gonna make it worse. He's fanning the flames of hatred. Like this man is imposing a group of people who had went into the shadows. Now they have come out of the shadows. They have taken their hoods off. They have put on a red "Make America Great Again" hat. They have, joined police forces. They are now out and bulging in full force because they are fighting to keep and maintain this quote unquote power and identity that they have in America. Like, that's what he's doing. But the other thing about Donald Trump that we have to just really pay attention to is he understands capitalism very well. And he also understands how the politics of America works and the psychology of America. True. And that's what he's using against Americans right now, especially white Americans. And
you can tell he understands. He understands the social. He understands the social construct of America.
Yes,
white people, whenever progress happens for people of color or anybody else but them, there's always a backlash. And I always tell people, you got to just look at the history. When you look at the 1960s, the civil rights movement, when black people started to ask for equal rights, white people got up and started. Right after slavery,
I have a little pushback, but we do have a video ready. So let's take a look at Tim Wheeler, and then we'll finish talking about this.
Okay.
President Trump, for 4 years, we've had to live with you and your racist attacks on black people. We learned early about your sexist attitudes towards women. We've had to endure clips of you mocking a disabled man. We've had to listen to your anti-democratic attacks on journalists. We've read your tweets slamming private citizens to the point of receiving death threats. And now you're attacking Democratic mayors and the very institutions of democracy that have served this nation well since its founding. Do you seriously wonder, Mr. President, why this is the first time in decades that America has seen this level of violence? It's you who have created the hate and the division. The tweets that he has been putting out in the last 48 hours, attacking Democratic mayors, attacking those who are trying to bring resolution to the violence in their local communities. He has an opportunity to uplift us and bring us together and help us move through this difficult situation in our nation's history, and instead, he chooses to play petty politics and divide us. That's my reaction. So I'm going to do the work that I need to do here in my local community with my local officials to take accountability for what's happening on our streets. And I'd appreciate that either the president support us or he stay the hell out of the way.
I so love him, baby.
But it's like, do you blame him though? Like,
Absolutely
you're playing politics, and I'm trying to make sure that the people in my city are okay, and not just one group of people, but all of them. And that's when I tell people you have to look at politicians in their heart. Is this person really looking out for us, or is this person just doing this as a ploy? And we all know that Donald Trump is a master of, and I tell people that's how he won. He's a master at keeping the television on him and the headlines on him. And the sooner people stop entertaining, like, we have no choice now because he's president, but the sooner people stop entertaining him, the faster he'll disappear. The faster he'll stop doing the clown show, because that's all we got right now. We got a clown in the White House. We don't even got a ringleader.
He's a manipulator.
Right.
He's a narcissist, and let's just be clear. Negative or positive attention is what he drives. It don't even matter.
It don't matter which one he gets, as long as he gets that.
I don't give him any props. I don't give him any props. He's not doing anything new. He took a page out of Hitler's book, a page out of Nixon's book, Napoleon. Like, he together. Yeah, he didn't create a blueprint. Like he didn't create a blueprint.
Blueprint was there. But he took somebody else's thought process.
He's just the one that has used his privilege and his entitlement like no other that we've seen in our era. Therefore, it is new to us. But he is a key manipulator, and you're right. He knows how to use the media and social media.
But he didn't need to create the blueprint. He needed to know how to construct from the blueprint. And that's what he's
not doing anything nobody else can't do. It's my thing. He's not doing anything no one else can do. He's doing what he's doing is something that he's disgusting because he doesn't care. And I think that to me, it's always dangerous to reward bad behavior, even if you're saying, "Oh, it was brilliant." No, it wasn't brilliant, because him being told these things, him hearing these things, is what fires him up.
No, let me be clear. He ain't never heard those things from Aurelia. He ain't gonna hear shit from me, because
no, but he hears it from other people.
Yeah, that's what my thing is. He's still able to execute a plan. You can't take that away from the man from executing the plan. Like he been doing this for 20 years. Donald Trump has been in every major cameo that he could be in. The dude was in Home Alone.
Well, my thing is this then. Well, since we got all this going on, I'm like this here. Run this about this doggone internal meltdown. What's going on in that White House with your niece giving all your tea? That's what I want. Let's run me back.
Now Melania, your best friend.
I don't think that it is going to have an impact on him at all. It's not gonna hurt
about that book.
I think just like everything that happened in 2016, the man said he liked to grab women by the pussy, and he didn't lose no numbers from that. So at this point, I don't think anything at this point will sway his voters away. Heck, if anything, from the problems that we see, we got to worry about the white folks that's in the suburbs who may be like, I hate Donald Trump in front of you, but may go behind that inside that booth and be like, click. That's what we need to be worried about, because at the end of the day, these white folks, the only thing a lot of them care about is their 401k and if their neighborhoods are going to be safe. And we see that. And we see that, right? We should have known that from 2016, because the man has said some outlandish things. And the man has said some outlandish things since he's been president, and it still hasn't swayed his voters. It still hasn't swayed.
Have to get pushback. Well, I guess I'm the pushbacker, because I still have to get pushback, because we didn't have in 2016 we didn't have receipts, right? There's a difference. In 2016 we didn't have receipts. All we had was Hillary Clinton telling us. We had Hillary Clinton telling us he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do that. Many of us believed her. No, but hear me out. No. But hear me out, because he had never been president before. Be clear. He did not become president until 2016.
But
so the thing is,
before that, though, when
hear me out. But he had no. We still had no receipts.
But see, the biggest.
We didn't have no receipts because he clearly a disabled person doing his campaign trail. He clearly talking about he want to grab a woman by the pussy.
By the pussy on camera.
I'm not saying we had no receipts. I'm not saying we had no receipts of his ignorance. I'm not saying we had no receipts of his overindulgence. I'm saying we had no receipts of him being the sitting president and taking advantage of the pulpit the way he has for the last 3.5 years.
But see, that's the thing. But see, that's the thing. People like that. They like the fact that he's taking charge.
Not everyone.
And
we didn't have the.
Not everyone, but people like that. And see, the biggest problem the biggest thing that we don't realize also is that not only that he's the sitting president, but now he has control of so many departments that have something to do with elections and have something to do with our everyday lives. He has a Senate behind him. He has the Attorney General behind him. He has the Postmaster General who's able to stop stuff. So that's what makes him more dangerous now than it did in 2016. Because now we have a man, but we also got to realize that we have a man that has said and done so much stuff between 2016 and now, and nothing chipped away at him but this protest. And what we see now is that people are starting to sway right back to him.
But things have
they just did polls.
The Senate just saved him. But things did chip away. He got impeached. Number one, he will go down in history as being the third president in history to be impeached. But when I said there was no receipts, you just said everything I was saying that there was no receipts because he had not done these acts yet. But we didn't have a Lincoln Project in 2016. We didn't have Republicans speaking out on Fox News saying that they will not vote for him in 2020. We didn't have a Joe Biden that was able to go across the aisle and have actual friends that are Republicans that are pulling people with them to the Democratic side to vote. So that's why I say that we can't
this man he is going to destroy everything that I've done. He is going to destroy the country. We did have that. And we had all of these other receipts about Donald Trump's behavior. Like
what receipt did you have for him as president?
30 years.
That's simply not true.
What made us think, and maybe it's just me not even prescribing.
I didn't like him. I knew
it's not about even having a receipt about what he was going to do. Like I knew that the fool, when he got in, he was going to be a fool.
When the fools show you who they are, they gonna be. When the fools show you, you believe that fool.
My point is that we have receipts now of what he's done. Not what he did before president, but we have receipts of what he's actually done as president. And I know that each one of you probably have Caucasian friends, but I have many, and I especially have many in the communication world that are looking at him cockeyed, that in 2016, they were fussing with me about him, but now they are in complete agreement with me on him. So everyone on the Republican side isn't seeing it the way you're seeing it. That's my point.
I'm not saying that. Because we
like this since before he was elected. Right. I've been seeing that. Like when you took out an ad,
we all have
5. Like I know who you are, so I didn't expect for you to come.
We all did, but we knew as Black people, but there were Caucasians that did not agree, but now they agree. So that's my point. Is that they have seen
also. So what does y'all deal with the comeback of Biden and Harris?
And what you mean by the comeback of Biden and Harris? Like you mean the Biden Harris comeback? You mean like how do we feel about them?
Okay, the last thing that they did, that Biden and Kamala did.
Oh, the response to Trump.
The comeback.
That's it. Okay. Well, Kamala definitely hit him where he needed to be hit. And I like what Joe Biden said yesterday. Also, I thought that was very important that Joe Biden went out there and said what he needed to say. But what needs to happen is more people need to get on TV and say when Trump says something that's incorrect, they need to get on TV and correct it and say what it is. The biggest problem that we have is this president gets to say what he wants, and people. I mean, yeah, the media try to fight. They try to fight back, but it's not really, coming together. It's not really piecing together. The way Joe Biden kind of handled that situation yesterday in Pennsylvania, where he kind of went on and what Donald Trump was saying about him all last week at that convention, when he came on and said, this is what I want, this is what I'm expecting, this is what I'm going to do. That's what he's going to have to continue to do in order to chip away at the lies that Donald Trump is going to be saying every day.
I don't think that the campaign is going to be effective. I think that they're trying to do politics within, as usual. They're trying to take a moral high ground. They're trying to, be ethical. And you're dealing with a person that is not moral or ethical. He is not politically correct. He doesn't know what it is. And those tactics are not going to help defeat this man come 65, 64, however many days from now. Like, that's not going to work.
Right. I agree with you with, and I was saying that since 2016, like Hillary Clinton playing the good girl and saying, this man is not like the average candidate. He's not like the average candidate. He says whatever he wants to say that's on his mind. He's going to say whatever he has to say to make you look like the bad person. He's going to lie through his teeth. You can have a picture in front of you and it could be blue, and he's going to say that thing is green. And you sitting, it's right there in your face, because he has no morals and he has no ethics about himself. We see that from his business standpoints. Like that's why when Aurelia was saying, like, we've had 30 years of this. We've literally had 30 years of this man being corrupt, him lying, him cheating on his taxes. Of course, he was going to do the same thing as president. The thing that you have to do is you have to show this stuff. Like you trying to play pretty princess, as one of my friends like to say. You can't play pretty. You have to get on his level, or you got to get somebody on your campaign or somebody in your circle to bash him like that. That's why I love
He's one of the type of people you gotta get down in the mud and fight with his ass. He one of them guys.
He one of them. Like they be like, don't get in the mud with pigs. This man, like,
you gotta get.
That's why I say, yeah, Joe. I was like, Joe Biden probably don't have to do it, but that's why I'm glad we have like the Lincoln Project and other little groups that's like throwing this stuff out. They need to continue throwing this stuff out, because you can tell this is getting under his skin. Because whenever the Lincoln Project releases a video, he is, he already got the Twitter fingers already. But when something hits him and it hits him personally, he
gets a tweet.
Let me get my phone. It's all him.
But I also he understands criminology 101. I think that Trump understands that as a perceived threat within minority communities, in particular, Black and brown communities here in America, as a perceived threat increases, so does the response to the perceived threat. It doesn't have to necessarily be a threat. You have to just perceive it as being one. And I think that he's capitalizing on it most definitely. And I'm really nervous. Like November 3rd, I am going to say, really, and I want to be wrong, but I think he's going to win.
Well,
I think
can I
so
speak?
You got to worry about our local elections too.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I guess I'm just the pushback king tonight.
Come on, King.
I think that Republicans, and I guess it's because I was a diehard Republican for 20 years, so I understand the narrative a little better on the Republican side, and that is stick to the script. And I think that on the Democratic side, the issue is that Democrats don't stick to the script. I think that Joe Biden has gone below the belt. I think that he has already been using politics that are not normal, especially yesterday when he did go live and he completely bashed the incumbent president by name. That is not normal. I think that if you look at a host of the commercials that the Democrats have put out, Joe Biden specifically, where they are going very low with Donald Trump, I think that the Lincoln Project goes very, very low. But I think the biggest issue is, and I hate to say this, and I don't mean us specifically when I say this, but conversations like this is the problem, because on the Republican side, they're not going to entertain negativity when it comes to Donald Trump. He's great, and that's all we want to talk about. We're not going to talk about no fear. We're not going to put any doubts in nobody's mind that he's not going to win. We're not going to doubt it. But in 2016 and now in 2020, you hear the same conversation. I'm scared. I'm doubtful. Oh, my God. CNN, MSNBC, I'm doubtful. I'm scared. Fox News, yeah, he's going to win. He's going to win. Although every signal is saying that Joe Biden is going to take 4 out of 6 of the flip states. But instead of us celebrating that and planting the seeds of we will win those states, let's go out and win, we say, oh, my God, I'm nervous. And I think that's
I mean, you can be the pushback king tonight, but I think
I'm looking at the optics and I'm being realistic about
I understand the optics of it
because
I worked on Barack Obama's 2008 campaign. I do understand it, but we're talking about a man that in 2016 we thought we would be in a Hillary Clinton's presidency right now.
I did.
To be completely honest,
I did.
We thought we were going to be in.
I knew that she had to win Florida or Texas to win. And
I knew she had to. I knew she had to win. I knew she had to win, but I did not. We did not expect. We did not expect people. We did not expect people to go into the voting booth and put Donald Trump. We didn't expect so many people to stay home.
But it wasn't that. That's what I expected. I expected Black people to stay home because of conversations that were doubtful, because of the Bernie and Hillary rift, because of all of those things. I expected Black people to stay home, and I knew that if she would not win Texas or Florida, she was going to lose because of the electoral college. That was not a mystery to me.
Not Texas. You really mean Texas? Because Texas has always been a red state. You mean Michigan or Wisconsin?
No. I knew that if she had won Florida or because Texas was purple in 2016, sir.
Texas was definitely I definitely didn't see Texas as something that she would ever win because I was in, Texas.
You may not have.
No, I just have. But did she win? But did she win Texas? Did she win Texas?
The reason why I said that I didn't expect for her, I knew that there was a chance
she wasn't going to win Texas. Now I didn't expect Donald Trump to win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan at the same time.
How many electoral colleges does Wisconsin hold?
What do you mean?
How many because he won through electoral college. So
he won through electoral college. Right.
That's why.
No, but what I'm saying is I did not see him. I did not see
Florida or Texas in order to win because the numbers in Florida and Texas was double the amount of every state you just called out.
Correct. That's why I'm saying it. But what I'm saying is I did not you missing the whole point. Because what I'm saying is okay. All right, I'm gonna let you be the pushback king today. That's that.
I've never run for anything that I didn't win. I've never gone out for anything that I didn't get. What I do understand is I understand people, and I understand that I know that Donald Trump is playing a game of planting seeds. And the issue is that on the Biden side, he can't plant a seed because every seed is being doubted. Every seed it's not gonna grow. Whereas on the Donald Trump side, nobody's saying that. On Donald Trump and Donald Trump,
we know that because Republicans believe in lock and step.
He had 25 women to file sexual harassment charges on him. Fox didn't entertain not one out of 25. There was one woman on Joe Biden, and she was on MSNBC and CNN. So my point is, we do not follow a script. We doubt and question everything along the way.
But the problem is that Fox News has always been Republican strong, whereas MSNBC and MSNBC and CNN, just like MSNBC and CNN have this thing about reporting the news. Though they're going to report the news. We know Fox News is going to always swing. We know they're biased, but at least they're going to. But at least they're going to. We know they're biased, but at least we know they're going to report the news. If something comes up, they're going to report it. With Fox News, we know Fox News is lock and step with the Republican Party. The Republican Party within itself is lock and step. Because but
not Chris Wallace and a few others. They push back.
Besides them. But it's just like when you in 2016, like I tell people, when you go into Texas and you talk to those Republicans, a lot of them behind closed doors or behind in quiet conversations, don't like the man. But when they get out in front of their constituents, they're going to be, we love Donald Trump. Yay, because
I'm just hopeful. I guess I can end with just saying I'm hopeful. I like to try and always keep a positive view on everything. Until I lose, I win, and that's just the way.
We know. Like I said, we know we're going to be. We know we're going to be fine. We know. Joe Biden isn't a Hillary Clinton. We see that, and we see the coalition that he's building. That's how I see it.
I don't know if I agree with all that. What I'm saying is I'm looking at the optics and I'm looking at real fear. I'm looking at white fear and how white fear responds. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the ads. I'm not looking at the numbers. I'm not looking at any of those things.
Definitely stop looking at the polls.
White fear. That exactly, because in 2016 it was the same thing, and I kept saying like he's going to win.
He's going to win.
This is going to be the white fear. This is going to be white response. And now he is touting that same song. He's touting that same conversation. He's pushing those same ideology, same ideas, and that's what's happening right now in America. So I don't. I'm not saying that I'm not being positive. I would hope that Kamala and Joe take it. However,
you know what I'm going to follow? Because when I'm going to follow, and it hasn't been wrong yet, I'm going to follow the Simpsons.
So he go die as president, basically. That's what you're saying. He go die while he in the seat. Because we don't know how he passed away.
I can't.
They've never failed us. They have never let us wrong.
But seriously,
Simpsons ain't been wrong yet.
But seriously, how I see it is, I see Joe Biden winning this election because he has so much momentum on his side. But we cannot, as a people, forget that white people sometimes don't always vote in the favor that we want them to vote. Oh, this person is bad for us, so everybody's going to vote just like us. Sometimes they vote based off of their wallet, and they vote based off of like you said, he's planting those seeds. King Wendell said he's planting seeds and it's not sticking. But like Aurelia said, he's planting seeds and some people are taking it. Like if you just look at the numbers of the people or how people in those suburban communities who 3 months ago was, Black Lives Matter. Now they're starting to kind of back away from that because he's touting the same thing. He has the same message. He's going to stick with this message of Democrats are going to run your suburban areas to the ground. They're going to throw these Black people, these low-income Black people inside your communities, and they're going to bring all of this crime. And we all know white folks, when it comes to crime, they don't like that.
I think we're focusing on the wrong one. I don't think white America is the problem. I think Black America would be his problem. I think that what I run into a lot are Black people that are a few mainly Black males, heterosexual males that feel very elite in their own way, I guess, very small. But I run into them that are actually pushing this narrative about Trump, pro-Trump and anti-Biden. I know y'all see a lot of Blacks,
but we know that because it was 13% of African Americans men that voted for Trump in 2016, and back then it was because Hillary Clinton was a woman. And like I tell people all the time, there were a lot of Black men and there were a lot of Hispanic men who have that old saying that a woman will not be over me. So they bought that into the election. And that's why
I think that was Hillary's biggest issue was she was a woman. But we will see November the 3rd. Everybody campaign the way they want to campaign. Everybody push the narrative that they want to push.
Wendell?
I'm straight grassroots here in Texas. I've been fighting with the Texas Democratic Party for the last 6 months, and I'm going to keep fighting until November the 4th. Because November the 3rd is not going to be good enough because they're going to still be counting. So I mean,
I said that
it's not over to the fat lady sings, and so I don't give up.
It's not over to the fat lady sings, but it's also not over to even smoke the Newport. Because after this conversation, I think I need a Newport short.
Is that bad to say it's not over to the fat lady sings now? Because in the world we live in now, you're not supposed to say stuff like this.
That's fat shaming. So it's just not over to the woman sings.
Oh, really?
But say, why the woman?
Why can't it be a man? It's not over to the person sings. That's what you got to say.
Wait a minute, guys. We have put, this is over. Please make sure that y'all share, and like. Make sure you go to the YouTube page and subscribe if you can. Instagram, Twitter. We're the same name everywhere you go. Truth to Power, Uncut, because there's a lot of truth to powers out there, but we're the only one that is uncut. And if you don't know what uncut means, I hope you don't find out tonight when you meet your mister.
And with the best production on social media.
Absolutely.
And we have to give it up for Dr. GL.
Yes.
And that stands for good luck, if you don't know.
Okay. And that is no shade, honey. Well, let me go and give us our quote for the night. Shoot.
Come on.
I hope it's positive.
Okay. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. Frederick Douglass.
He also said power never concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. God today.
There's a lot of power and struggle quotes we could throw out. That was a good one.
I just wanted to do that one because I knew we was going to be into some more stuff. So I said, let me just go and just hit this one.
No, that was a good one. That was a good one.
I like it.
Because we are at a place of struggling and with power and with trying to remove and replace.
I'll give y'all another one here since y'all over here want to throw a little shade.
Nah, girl, save it for next week, girl. Save it for next week.
Okay, let me do this. Freedom is never given, it's won. Okay? By Philip.
Well, that's, I mean, well, that you telling people to so you telling people to rise up against the government?
You better let
because freedom ain't
never given, it's won.
So you telling people they need to rise up against the government if they want to get that real freedom? I mean, that's what it says, basically.
That's what I get.
That's what I get. You got that too. If y'all want criminal justice reform,
I get burn it down. That's what I get.
Burn it down.
Burn it down and start over again. But guys, once again, Aurelia, the identity professor, and as you can see, she will make sure that her identity is always exposed. And then we have Mr. Dean Snell, which is definitely a political analyst and a political specialist. And I can't say mouth of the South because we already have 3 miles of the South on here, but we can say in addition to the miles of the South. And of course, your girl, the girl that everybody knows, the snatched up diva, the one that I feel like I'm announcing you at a church fashion show, a little bit church fashion show. But your girl, my girl, the girl of the world, Dr. Candace Matthews, represents that north side of Houston, Texas, all day, every day. Give it up for her. And we hope that you all love the show, share the show, because without you, we will not have the show. So we want to make sure that we do everything we can to give you good input, good data, and good feedback, because that's what we're here to do. We're going to speak truth to power, because if you're not speaking truth to power, you're not fighting the power. And with that being said, thank you all. Tonight
that should have been a quote.
Heated.
That should have been a quote. That should have been a quote to end us out.
You know what?
I hope that you all join us Thursday. Oh,
we gonna have to keep
join us on Thursday. Make sure y'all join us on Thursday, where we're going to have Meet the Host, so that we can actually break down each one of our co-hosts, and we're going to find out what each of us are doing in our everyday lives and what our platforms are, because we want to make sure that you understand that what we're doing, we don't do just for this show, but we do it in our everyday lives. Right. Thank you, and have fabulous Tuesday. See you all Thursday.
May the shade be with you.
Because somebody gonna get faded if Joe Biden don't win.
And that little girl was me.